Hey everybody, Thomas here, and today we are going to start cutting on this massive ash log. And as you can see, this log is massive. This came off our property up in Tennessee. Even the dog says it's massive. This log came from our property up in Tennessee. It's been cut for about a year and a half or so, and I've been long anticipating cutting this up. This is going to be gorgeous for bar tops or anything wide. As it sits right now, the mill head will not pass by, and I do have clearances on this side to actually push it over to make it fit. But what I'm looking at right now is the orientation log, any checks. Now I'm being thrown off on this one because you've got that weird chainsaw cut in there. But if you look at the end down here, you can see I've got kind of a weird, nasty check there in the middle, and I don't think there's really much I can do about that because it's in a star type pattern. But I have this portion where they trimmed it with the chainsaw, and I think what I'm going to do is actually orient that in the bottom direction for the time being and get this high spot right here where it bells out, start slabbing in that direction. I'll start cutting on this top side first, take that bell out, then flip it 180. So I'm not going to go for absolute max width. Absolute max width would take into consideration the bell and be cutting this direction. However, it doesn't help me on the other end based on the orientation of the log, and I don't want to have all sorts of weird angles at the bottom to work with. So by rotating this log essentially 90 degrees, where this will be the upward direction, I'll stay in line kind of with the larger part of the check, but in all actuality I don't really care. That's not really my main concern, because whenever I open this up, I know I'm going to have some weird stuff. I've already got a lot of moisture leaving this log. I've already got a lot of wide gaps. Some of the end pieces of this will have to be bow tied or epoxied. In fact, I worked on a piece of black walnut last night with epoxy. Very, very happy way it turned out. So let's go ahead and get on the mill. We'll turn this log 90 degrees. I will use the turner for that for right now, but whenever I actually get to the point where I'm going to turn the log, after I make my few cuts on this side and turn the log and start cutting on this side, I'll turn it with the tractor, because I'm going to try to maximize the edge as much as I can, because this is going to be live edge bar tops on either side. So I want to make sure I don't scuff up the size too much. So stay tuned, here we go. So as I'm cutting this log, Tom is going to be out here scooting around on his little four-wheelers. Hopefully it won't be too loud, but I don't think it will, because you'll hear nothing but the sawmill, to tell you the truth. Okay, so I've got my work area cleaned. I'm ready to get this log orientated properly, and we can go ahead and start cutting. We'll make some measurements and everything, make sure I know where everything's going to be, and go from there. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers. Overall length on this log section. Now I'm not going to count, I guess I could, it's 7 foot to this area right here, but really actuality, I've got a chainsaw mark here, so we're at 80 inches. 80 inches long. On the small end, she measures 28.5 by 23.5. On the big end, .34 inches by 28 inches. So we know there's a big nasty check in the center that's like a weird star pattern. There's two ways I can cut this. If I want to get my maximum width slabs, I would cut in the orientation it is right now, but I would get fewer of those slabs. If I want to cut still a wide slab at up to 24 inches on the small end, 28 on the big end, I will get more slabs if I orientate this log with this being in the upward direction. So turn it again 90 degrees. And I think that's the way I'm going to go. the way that the sides work out, I'm not dealing with that big bell at the bottom of the log, and therefore it'll make the slabs look more uniform. So the orientation that I'm sticking with is I'm going to turn this 90 degrees. You have this be the upward section of the log, and then start slabbing down. I'll slab down a few slabs, then I'll come with the tractor, take it off, flip it 180, and start cutting on the other side, with this being a known reference point. I like to do that with the tractor vice the turner on a log section like this, because I'm trying to, you know, save this outer edge of bark so it doesn't look too rough. Now for this first cut, I'm pretty sure I can turn it without gouging in it too much, and it's, you know, it shouldn't be too bad. But I don't want to continue using the turner when I've got a flat section I'm trying to move on my log stops. So the log should easily move with the turner I have currently, the way it's set up, and we'll go from there. But I am really excited about cutting this log up. This is something that came off a property a while back, and I'm just thrilled. So here we go. Gotta crank up the mill, let her warm up a bit, and we'll turn it. Going to tighten the blade. Now the blade I have here, I've already cut one log, but that should be good. I'm gonna run my tension on this one a bit high. I want to go at 1350. All right, she's in the orientation that I want. That was pretty easy. The hardest thing, and see, the log's so big I can't even see what's going on. I can see right now that my log dog on this side is actually too low, but I couldn't see that while I'm turning it. I'm kind of operating blind and watching the movement of the log. Now when I say the log turner will scuff up, it's not bad. See, I've got a little bit there, but I can easily sand that out and make that almost look like it's a natural occurring piece. I don't want to have to use a log turner when I have a flat section, because I'm not working with a round section. It's going to have more resistance to there. And as you can see, like I'm talking about my log dog right here, I'm going to bring it back out, try to bring it up a little bit more just so I have the bottom clamp. Now, I do not believe that this massive ash log will move on me, but I want to make sure that I've got it pretty well secured. So let me readjust that, and I'm going to use the computer on this one to start making these initial cuts. I'm going to go ahead and set the computer at 1.5 inches, and we'll work down using the computer until I get to a flat section where I feel like I can turn the log over and have something to work with for the next cuts. So here we go.
start cutting. And so here, I'll set my reference or my node point at the top, start hitting the gear down. You get a few interesting little pieces here, then we should get into some beautiful wood. And the rain started.
let's just take a look at what we got here. My first cut went into the log at 29 and some change above the deck. That's pretty impressive. So my suspicions were that this was going to be spalted, and yes, we do have some spalt. Now I have cut only a little bit of ash, like literally one log section off of this, or one branch section I should say, and not anything more than that. I did get to the reference plane that I was working towards. Oh, these are actually pretty heavy. And these little pieces right here, you know, they don't look like much. Oh, or do they? So again, I don't have a fancy brush right here to show you, but holy crap. This is hard. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna have a lot of color. I'm hoping we can find this all the way throughout the lawn. That would be just absolutely amazing. This has been down for about a year and a half or so. Yeah, oh man, these are gonna be gorgeous. I can make like a bench or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. Oh my goodness, yeah. Again, it's a fine line between spalt and rot. I think we did well on this one. I think we did well. I cannot wait to see what the center of this is going to look like. The only thing I'm worried about is these slabs being this heavily spalted. I don't know if I'd be too busy for a tabletop. But look at this. Holy shnikes. That is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. Oh yeah. Now, I am seeing a little bit less spalt here towards the center, which I think is going to be the case because the spalt is as the wood deteriorates and stuff like that, it's going to deteriorate from the outside in, so my center portion might not have as much. But the ends are going to be, I think, pretty impressive. So we've got the log now where we can get her off of the tractor and turn her around. So let's stop the video right now, get some stuff cleaned up, get some stuff prepped, and we'll restart here momentarily. Okay, so we've made some pretty good progress on this log thus far. The color is absolutely amazing. The spalt is absolutely amazing. I've never cut ash before. I mean, this is gorgeous. And the cool thing is, look at this. My elbow is at the end here, and it's still longer than my arm. So that's a 2-foot piece, and it's like that all the way down. The closest it gets is right here in the middle, where I'm probably right at 2 foot. So it's at least a 24-inch piece right there of ash. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut 2 inches off this top side. And then I'm going to rotate it and then start cutting on the bottom side, because as you see, we have this weird, it dips in the way the log goes, whereas at the top it's pretty wide. Also at the top, you'll see on the right side, it does have that dip, whereas on the left side here, we're as straight as can be, and it looks great. So if I'm gonna do any book matching, I wanna make sure that this side is the side that I keep, and I would take away this side right here and take these two peaks off. But I really just wanna get a 2-inch thick slab off of this top part here, and we'll flip it over, probably do some more 2-inch slabs on the other side. Right now I'm at 17.5 inches above the deck to the top face of this log right now, and I've got quite a bit more to go. And unfortunately the wind has kind of picked up on us. It's really hard for me to have the camera stay stationary and film at the same time without having it from a different angle. I think the angle looking at the front of the log like this is really the best shot for cutting. So I'm going to put another time lapse on because I'm also going to have to do some moving of the log. And I don't want to eat up too much time because this is going to be a rather long video, but I want to make sure I get it all in one shot. And then over here, I've already started stickering and stacking the wood. So these are all my 1.5 inch thick slabs, and they are just looking awesome. I mean, that right there is almost a beautiful river table as it is. But I've got enough support there. I'm going to go ahead and continue putting slabs on here, and then afterwards I'm going to put a ton of weight on this thing because I don't want this to move. But that log, she is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The more I look at it though, I'm thinking in my head, maybe I should just flip it already. Yeah, I don't know. I really want to see a 2-inch thick slab off that. I don't know, we'll see. Figure out what I do in the time lapse. Stay tuned. Okay, so that may look kind of funny what I just did there. The first slab that came off looked really thick, and it was actually over 2.5 inches thick. But that will make, that slab over there, will make a perfect bench for what my wife's wanting to do. She actually wants a little bench inside the house where we take shoes off and stuff like that. So since we have a mill, I'll show you how thick this is. I mean, this thing is thick. So if you got a sawmill, why not make a bench? I mean, that thing's massive. It's 7.5 foot tall. It's 20 inches wide, and it's over 2.5 inches thick. It's almost 3 inches thick. That's pretty impressive bench. So I think that's what I'm going to work with. My next cut that I did was at 2 inches, and then my next cut after that, which was really weird, it's slightly over 6 inches. It's probably 6 inches and 3 or 5/16, I don't know. It's whatever. I'm on the 2-inch scale, and I hit it down 3 times, because if you look at the pith on this one right here, from the top down, the pith was at 7 inches down. On the other side, my pith was only 4 inches down. So I was trying to get it close to center, but if I was afraid if I cut this up as is in 2 inches, it would just be kind of goofy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to book match that massive board, or I might still come back and cut a little bit off the bottom. I haven't decided yet, but I'm gonna get those off and then start working this bottom one. The bottom one now is just over 6 inches. I essentially have 3 more cuts to do, or excuse me, 2 more cuts to do. I'll have 3 slabs, and those are each going to be at 2 inches because I'm on the 2-inch scale. I think that'll be ample enough wood there. The first one being probably the best one because my grain is going to be essentially mostly quarter-sawn. There will be some rift-sawn, and once you get around this center section, it will be a little bit unstable. But for the most part, I'm going to have pretty good grain in the first 2. The bottom slab, we'll see. 2 inches, it may want to try to cup on me, but I'm not overly too worried about that. I can always throw a ton of weight on this and, you know, hope for the best. So now I got to get this monstrosity of a thing off the top, and this middle one here, like I said, I'm going to come back and probably book match that one, I think, or I could cut it in half and then make some mantles. I don't know. There's a lot of wood to work with there, but I need to go ahead and get this bottom portion done so I can get this off the mill. Also, you saw me change out the blades. I was going to put a blade that we had sharpened back on there, but since I'm making essentially a 28-inch wide cut, or down there at the other end is probably 30 inches wide, I'd be afraid of over torquing a blade that may have already been fatigued, because I don't really keep track of how many times I've sharpened a blade. So here we go. The kids have, you know, found a whistle. Oh joy. Okay, so we've got the other slabs off, and I had to show you something before I turn this over one more time, and I'll talk about what I'm going to turn it to. Hoping this shows up in the film right here. I've got medullary rays going on in there. I'm very happy about that. It's not, you know, overly pronounced, but they are there. I'm very happy. That's what you see when you quarter saw white oak, red oak, and you get it a whole lot through sycamore. Just take a look at that though. That is gorgeous. I cannot wait to see this, you know, slab in about a year or so when I get the moisture content low enough. But those medullary rays, that's awesome. I just love that little flecking you get in there. So, you know, little things. Also, got some weird chip out stuff here. I believe that's because it was close to the pith. However, I did remove the pith that was in that 6-inch piece that I have over there. But whatever. All right, so the reason why I need to flip this log, I don't want to have to use my log stops on this next, you know, these next 2 cuts, because it's, you know, I don't want to run the risk of hitting them. I've got a space here between my stop that's at 3/4 of an inch in the log. If I push this log all the way over to here, I actually have some curvature. You can see it will extend out farther than I want to, and then I'll be close to my guide roller there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip the log over. On the other side, I'll have an edge that will be further over than the part that I'm cutting, and it'll be up against here. That's something you have to take in consideration. If I was to start cutting on this as it is right now, without having these, you know, without having the wood up against the stop, odds are it's going to push over, and again, run the risk of hitting my guide roller down there. I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to actually show the turning of this because you've seen it twice already in this film, how I turn this with the tractor. I'm going to take it off with the tractor, I'll put it back on, and then we'll do a, you know, real-time cutting of the last 2 cuts, which will provide me 3 slabs. So I hope you're enjoying this. Stay tuned, and here we go. Okay, here we are. Last 2 cuts. I think everything is set up just right. I've lowered the camera down to try to prevent as much wind as possible on the camera so you don't get a whole lot of vibration. You'll be seeing the energy chain coming at you live action. It's pretty cool. All right, so 2 cuts. I'm going to be on the 2-inch scale. I'll be running the water moderately heavy. I've got enough just for these last 2 cuts, probably, and that's it. And as you see, I'm fully up against the log stops over here. I will not be using my log dog on the other side. There is no need. There is plenty of weight on this, and I'm fully supported on this side. So without further ado, let's get going. It's done. I'm very happy. I mean, ecstatically happy. I can almost not even keep myself from smiling because this is freaking massive. Alright. So hopefully this will be a good reveal shot right here. There's a beautiful knot in here, and I'm hoping it shows up on this side right here. This slab is, tape measure, we'll find out, 24 inches, 23 inches there, and it gets wider over there on that side. That's essentially a countertop to a kitchen. But let's see what she has in store for us. Oh yeah. Pretty nice. I'm very happy with this pattern in here. A neat little knot right there, but I love this knot right here. But yeah, whew, big old slab. Almost let go of it there. So I hope you all have enjoyed this video. This was all shot in one day. I started in the morning, everything. Then I did a little bit of shooting whenever I got back from dropping off a load of wood from a guy, and then for a guy, and then whew, this is fun. I enjoy every bit of this. You know, my part-time gig is running the sawmill. I love it. I enjoy doing these videos. I hope you all enjoy watching them. And you know, stay tuned for more, because it's only going to get bigger and better as we get some better logs. In fact, if you can keep it up with the channel, I've got a box elder log that we'll be getting here real soon. But look at that. That's gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. So many possibilities with this wood here. And I'll show you one last thing here before I conclude the video. I know this is a long one, and I appreciate anyone sticking around this long to watch, but this is going to be the pile right here. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but this is gorgeous. I cannot wait to install some of this stuff in the house. The thicker piece that I have, that's 3 inches thick. I'm actually probably going to work with it before it's dry and just kind of have it dry in place. But yeah, pretty awesome. What do y'all think, girls? Molly, what do you think? Yeah, I'm happy. Lucy? Yeah, I'm happy. Cassie? Cassie just all over the place. Well, y'all have fun. See you around. Thanks.